everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress, of a podcast about movies and TV shows and video games and lots of pop culture and nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today, and with me, per usual, are two of your other hosts. We got Alex and Brian here. Hello.
What's up? I'm back. I'm alive.
He's back.
I'm glad you're selling this because Oscar hasn't been selling these intros lately.
What?
Tell
What do
him.
you mean?
Tell him what intros.
Do I need even more energy, Brian?
Yeah, you're like, we're gonna be doing this thing real quick. It's a podcast. It might last an hour, maybe 3. We don't know.
It's anywhere between that. I mean, after last week when we were like, oh yeah, free for all, we do whatever. Let's go.
True.
We out here, including me.
We got ups and down weeks every now and then.
Right. We need to put more emphasis on the fact that Alex is here. He exists.
Yeah.
He is a human, I believe.
Yeah, I'm definitely a human.
He's a human that hasn't seen
wink, wink.
any TV or movies in probably 6 months.
Yeah, let's go. I haven't caught up on any of the things that we're talking about today, but I am ready to talk about
He's ready either way. Here we go.
To watch them.
With that, should we get into our first segment of the week, guys?
Let's do it.
News talk.
Also, I didn't say this earlier, I don't think, but check the time codes if you want to skip to anything. First things up, this literally just happened within like an hour. A bunch of DC news stuff popped out. One of those being, which I'm very excited about, is that apparently this is all according to a THR article that just literally started popping into the thin air. That Henry Cavill might be coming back as Superman in a potential Man of Steel 2, and that Warner Brothers really, really has an intense desire, in quotes they say, to have him back. And I would love it. I mean, you guys have heard me say, like, I don't think he got a fair shot as Superman. I would love to see him back.
Didn't get a fair shot. He was in like 3 movies.
Well, 2 of
Was
them
he,
sucked.
though?
The one, he was only in the second half.
I'm pretty sure he has like 43 lines in Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Batman vs Superman sucked. Justice League sucked worse.
Justice League, spoilers, he was dead for over half of the movie. So did he really get 3 movies?
Tragic flaw of the whole entire movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think if they are trying to restructure what they're doing with Warner Brothers stuff right now, I think that would be a great place to start.
I'm surprised they took this long. Like, what are they doing?
No one knows.
Superman is their shining torch. Like, just make a Superman movie, and you'll be
so
okay.
Is Henry Cavill. Man is beloved. So you would think that this would be a no-brainer.
Dude's pretty solid.
Why does Spider-Man have 3 movies in the time it took to make 1 Superman movie?
Right.
Get it together, guys. If you need some help, give me a call. I'm available.
Currently booking right now. If you want to go ahead and hit my email.
If you need some advice from a professional, hit your boy up.
Right.
Here's some free advice. Just make the movie.
Boom.
Make the movie. It'll be a
I think that's what they've been doing for the past decade, though. They've just been making a movie, and so
maybe they
just need to make
movies.
a better.
Let's make a Superman movie and get Henry Cavill in there. He's pretty great.
Also, apparently, we might also have to thank The Rock for this, because I know he's been like really touting. One, he wants Black Adam to fight Superman a lot. And specifically, I think he does want Henry Cavill to be Superman. So we might have to thank The Rock after all this if to ignite that fire, apparently. Or either that or he's like, get him or I walk.
Yeah, people are fighting so hard for that people were saying they're going to boycott Black Adam in order to get Henry Cavill to play Superman again so that they can match up together. They wanted to literally tank that movie so that The Rock could be right. And I think that's actually wild that people even consider doing something like that. Doesn't make any sense to me.
That's the most insane thing I've...
There's a whole ass petition out there over this.
We're going to support The Rock's claims by not seeing his movie.
By not supporting The Rock.
Yeah, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but in some kind of warped way, it makes a way too much sense.
Yeah,
right.
It's trending on Twitter. Boycott
for our world, yeah, it makes sense.
You probably should just boycott it because it's going to be a bad movie. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, boy.
What else we got?
Other piece of news that's coming out with this DC stuff, James Gunn is apparently making another DC movie, which that's kind of cool. His plate seems to be full. He's still doing Guardians 3. He's working on the Peacemaker Season 2, which I love Season 1 of Peacemaker, and I don't know what this new movie is going to be, but I mean, he's good at what he does, so.
Imagine getting the best of both worlds after having, like, the worst cancellation on the internet.
Right?
In the past 5 years.
Yeah, talk about a comeback story.
Yeah.
Like, let's give him more movies than he had.
I wonder what it's going to be, though. What do you guys have any guesses on what, or, like, wishes on what you wish James Gunn would work on for DC? What would you like to see?
I think any director that you like that's, like, pretty big in the scene right now should get a Batman movie. Everyone should get one crack at it. Let's just every single person.
No.
Like J.J. Abrams is
No.
next. Give him a Batman movie. James Gunn, give him a
I'm
Batman
so
movie.
sick of
Peter
it.
Jackson,
Just-
you want a
just
Batman
throw
movie?
him
Let's
out.
do it. Give him a
You get
Batman
a
movie.
Batman movie. You get a Batman movie. You get a Batman
I'm
movie.
into it. I want to see what everyone does. I want to see the extended universe of everyone that just who makes the best Batman movie. You get to make a second one.
I don't hate that idea. I think that's pretty cool.
That's so
You
funny.
can really see everybody's different styles. You know,
Exactly.
it's the same source
Yeah.
material.
What we saw
Oh,
Robert
man.
Pattinson was very interesting and very different, and I
Yeah.
want to see more of
Yeah.
that with just different takes. You imagine Batman being funny, making fucking jokes. Don't make him Chris
Wow.
Pratt though. If you make him Chris Pratt, I walk. I don't.
Oh
I can't.
no,
I can't
no,
do that.
yeah,
Again.
no. I mean,
No.
for me, the obvious would be the second Suicide Squad movie, which would be kind of cool
Yeah.
because I think he did a good job. Even though no one saw that movie, I feel it was very
Aw.
underrated. But it's a solid movie. But I kind of want him to like stick to his weird niche
Yeah.
shit of weird like deep cut hero shit.
I wanna see him do like the Wonder Twins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Wonder Twins, or like a really lame version of Aquaman, like where
I was
nobody
literally
nobody
thinking
likes
Aquaman.
him. Yeah, I would love to see that. Definitely something funny.
For sure.
Yeah.
He's definitely good at his script writing when it comes to humor stuff.
Yeah. So we'll see. That probably won't happen for years and years from now. Two more things, real quick. Matt Reeves' Batman's getting spin-offs on villains. Great, cool.
Does have the best villains.
Who is Matt Reeves?
Matt Reeves is the guy who directed the most recent The Batman.
Okay, neat.
Which, did you still ever see that yet?
I did. It was fucking heavy as shit.
it is
The
a lot.
opening scene was probably the scariest thing I've seen of the year.
It's also
Fair.
too fucking
It was
long.
good. Yeah, it was
It's
way too
20
long.
minutes too
way
long.
too long.
Yeah. It could have been 20 minutes, could have been cut if Batman walked just like a half a second faster.
Yes.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I liked it though. I liked it a lot.
I'm glad.
So yeah, we already know they're getting like a Penguin spinoff on HBO with
Right.
Colin Farrell's character.
Right.
But apparently they're planning many villain spinoffs, which cool. I also kind of want to, see them interact with Batman.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm interested in any of that. Good for them, but
I mean, I think it's their way of getting more villains out there because I think there's an issue with the movie, like the cinematic universe, where they just pick the same fucking three and never go any
Right,
further
yeah.
into like some of those more niche villains. So maybe it's the way.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
kinda
The
do
only
that.
thing I would say, if they did this cool kind of way where they introduce these villains in these weird spin-off shows, and that way you put them in the movie and you don't have to do as much work,
Yeah,
that would be kind of cool. And just toss all these villains at Batman in the movie. Like, that would be kind of dope.
that'd be very
But I don't know.
MCU-ish the way they're going right now with all their TV shows.
True.
So maybe they need to start building an extended universe better like that.
Maybe. Yeah.
we'll see.
Last piece of news. Apparently The Flash 2 has a script.
Which is
What?
funny because I recently heard that Ezra Miller's 100% getting canned. Like it's been
Yeah.
Recently,
almost
isn't this old news?
yeah, but the apology came out, things like that. But I just don't think it's worth keeping the bad press around to even try to do a
That's
second
nuts.
Yeah. Damn.
Apparently, they also have this script. This is only in case the movie does well, which, let's face it, it's probably going to make so much money, but still.
Even just based on the controversy,
interesting.
people are gonna see it, and that's so funny. It's so funny the way
Yeah.
PR works because it's
Oh,
so
true.
ass backwards.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And apparently, because like we were hearing earlier that by like early screenings that it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Like it was actually surprisingly good, which is like, yay for the Flash of the character and the people that worked on it, but like also, damn.
This would be the one that's the best movie, and not Batgirl.
I know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's good.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate.
It's unfortunate that shitty people are shitty though.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
for sure.
All right, that's it for the DC stuff that just happened. Next piece, RIP G4 again.
Did not even last a year.
This is the video game channel, right? G4.
Brian, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, G4.
That
My
sucks.
Yeah.
favorite show, the favorite TV channel of the early 2000s that loved to put military
yeah.
commercials through every single ad break. Yeah, I knew this wasn't. I'm pretty sure I called it, maybe even on the podcast. I called it that this was not gonna last as soon as they
I
announced
feel
it.
like I remember that.
They were cherry picking just random creators that already had strong audiences and then just trying to put them on the forefront to like basically do all the hard work that they weren't willing to do when it came to G4. And they were trying to make basically just a glorified YouTube channel, kind of a la Rooster Teeth kind of thing. They wanted to make a conglomerate of YouTube channels that kind of brought back some of your old favorites. Basically weighing heavy on nostalgia, which it turns out doesn't actually work because most of the creators, it just doesn't work in a space like this anymore. Like G4 TV was able to exist because we had nothing else. This was pre-YouTube. I couldn't just go and watch, and name a random video game creator and just fucking go and watch 87 videos about their stuff that they do. So putting just a ton of money in something that doesn't necessarily need it wasn't the fix. Throwing money at the problem. So it just ended up with a really lame YouTube channel that nobody actually really cared about, that was overproduced and underutilized.
So where did this exist? I didn't even get a chance to enjoy any
It's
of
a
it.
YouTube channel. It's not on
It was
TV.
exclusively on YouTube.
Yeah, they probably stream as well, but it was all internet
Hmm.
based. It was not on TV channel again, which maybe
Got
would
you.
have been better if they had done something like a TV channel. Maybe something put
Yeah.
something on Netflix.
There's
I don't
no
know.
way. Oh yeah, if they went to like a Netflix or something, but like no. Yeah.
Not cable, but yeah, I could have seen that doing better on some kind of streaming service that's not YouTube.
Yeah.
I feel like
Maybe partnering with a cheaper
yeah,
one.
YouTube's
like
already
Peacock
got
or
plenty of
something.
versions of that.
Exactly. We're at the point where it's just you can watch so many people that make the exact same content, probably better at this point because they've been
Interesting.
doing it for longer. So it just really failed.
Right.
The unfortunate thing is everyone's saying that it's, the go woke, go broke kind of bullshit because one of the creators that was actually on the platform earlier that year that this existed went on a big rant about how she didn't want to be sexualized and she didn't like that G4 used to be a thing about sexualizing women. Like, they had Olivia Munn, which was only supposed to
Right.
be, face talent. She wasn't because she played video games or anything like that. Morgan Webb also struggled with the same thing of basically just being eye candy for the weird nerds. And she was like, no, I don't like that. That's just weird. Like, I'm just a girl that plays video games. I'm not, some weird ass unicorn that you need to sexualize because I exist.
Mhm.
Of course, everyone hated that because she had an opinion and she's a woman.
Right.
And now they're saying that's the reason
Ugh.
that this failed. And it's absolutely not. It's mismanagement 100%. They did not do this
Yeah.
well, and I've heard from a lot of like the bigger creators on there that they felt that upper management was really struggling, and they just weren't putting money in the right places or supporting the creators. So
That, and I would also say like marketing, because like like we just said, me and Alex were like didn't know where it was,
Right.
how to access it, what like.
and it's funny because
Yeah.
some of my favorite creators were actually on the squad. Like it's fucking like
Oh,
Golden
wow.
Boy, that was a great caster that casts a lot of like really big gaming events. Gerard that does the completionist, he completes 100% games and stuff like that. These people
Wow.
have like huge audiences.
Oh wow.
So they could have theoretically carried this. And I think that's what they
Yeah.
wanted them to do. But unfortunately, that wasn't enough to actually get real buzz because you can just go. They still made their own content. They weren't like, there was no
Right.
things to stop them from doing that. So yeah,
Weird.
rest in peace. Don't miss them.
Well, we'll see if it makes a three-peat.
The worst part is just a lot of people found out they got fired Sunday at lunchtime before they
Right,
were
like
coming to
via
work.
a Twitter post or some shit. Yeah,
Oh,
that's kind of
sucks.
nuts.
Wow.
That's kind of nuts. Not to continue the bad news, but Brian, you want to talk to us about Bayonetta 3 as well?
Bayonetta 3, which I just read a little bit more about. So Bayonetta is a very beloved game by a lot of people. Bayonetta was the most broken character in Super Smash Brothers, but they nerfed her, thank God. The third game is coming out, and then out of nowhere, the voice actor for Bayonetta actually came out and said that she would not be reprising the role for Bayonetta 3 because they wanted to pay her a disrespectful amount of money to come back for the role. $4,000.
And how much money
Damn.
did Bayonetta 2 make?
I don't millions, literal millions.
Wow. I wonder
Yeah,
how
like,
much she made on the first two games,
Right.
I don't know.
Like it's not an indie small passion project, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a pretty big game. And then they made a second one. The first one was already a hit. People loved it.
Right.
I can
Yeah.
understand her taking like a low ball rate for like a project that nobody's heard about.
I think that's her
But
point.
like, she
'cause-
had to have been making more than 4,000 for the second one.
And that's why I'm wondering, like, what the fuck happened there? Was it a weird, like, I just don't know what they were trying to do to try to like lowball or something like that. Cause I'm like, if it was something that's happening in all these games, your agent fucking sucks. Like, what is happening with these negotiations where you're getting
Right.
paid such shitballs little?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm happy that she turned them down and this is out there because that's atrocious.
Yeah. What's kind of crazy is who's taking over her role?
Uh-oh.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
one of the biggest voice actors in the world, fucking Jennifer Hale, who voiced
Wow.
Commander Shepard in Mass Effect,
You
as
know,
well
you
as
know
every
she's
other
not
thing.
taking 4,000.
Exactly. So what the fuck
Yeah.
happened? Where there's no way Jennifer Hale's taking $4,000. She is up. She's
Right.
echelon, like up with the Troy Bakers and stuff like that. Like I just can't imagine that. I don't know how this happened, but yeah, she was like,
Mm.
she spent like a few videos talking about all her accolades that she's had and how long she's been doing this, and how she felt so disrespected by this game.
One of the things she did say in those videos was the Bayonetta franchise made approximated $450 million, not including merchandise.
Whoa.
That's
So there you go.
Right. And it's just voice
Wow.
actors just catch the worst fucking luck when it comes to it. I don't know many voice actors that are like, rich, like a real celebrity, and some of them probably should be. There's some people that I've known that have been, doing this shit for 30 plus years and all of my favorite things, and they still drive like a fucking Honda Accord, not even the newest version. You know what I mean? And that's just. Or we'll see how many voice actors get replaced by A-list actors whenever a movie comes out. We know that's an issue with Mario right now. where a lot of those characters
Right.
are like are good voice actors, just kind of get shat on because they'd rather have Zac Efron. It's unfortunate. I don't know. It's just really sad. I assume voice actors aren't unionized like a normal actor. That's
Um,
not a SAG thing or something like that with them.
I was just talking to somebody whose girlfriend is a voice actor, and I'm pretty sure that they are under SAG. Don't quote me, but
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure that they
If they're not, they need to
not
be.
not everything is a SAG production, obviously,
Right.
but the big things would be.
You would think Bayonetta would be the
I'm
big
pretty
thing.
sure it's under SAG. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like, I don't, if you're not, like, I feel like y'all need to be because y'all need to start fighting for your rights a little bit more because this just isn't
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
it's pretty weird. Overall, just not a great look for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like, especially when that game's about to come out.
And she called to boycott it. Like, she just straight up said it. And I was like,
Yeah,
damn,
she said, "Do not buy it."
you're really willing to blackball yourself in the
Damn.
industry over this, which is that's a bold move because I don't
Yeah.
know what else she's done personally. Like, not to disrespect her.
I hope she pulls through on the next project.
Yeah.
I hope the
Right.
next one is great.
Right.
Right. And I hope they give her money.
We'll see, hopefully. But yeah, that is the end of the news. Sorry to end on a downer, listeners. Guys, are you ready to now enter our main topic of the week?
Let's do it.
But first, we're another fortress. This fortress is green. That's about it. It's green. It's funny. It's very funny. And we'll talk about it because we're in the fortress of.
She-Hulk, attorney at law.
Trademarked by not She-Hulk.
What?
Yeah, listeners. So we're going through a little bit of the She-Hulk just finally ended. The Marvel series, the lawyer comedy what did they call it? Comedic lawyer show or something like that they say, I can't remember. Yeah, and so we're gonna kind of just talk about that, our overall feelings. Obviously, Alex had already mentioned he hasn't talked or seen it.
I have not seen it, but if by the end of this episode it sounds good, I might check it out. So we'll see if you guys can convince me. What did you guys think? Did you like it?
Brian, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
Doesn't sound good.
Whoa, wait a second.
Oh,
You
no,
don't know
no,
a
no.
thing about me. You don't even know me.
I know Brian does not like most things. That's the biggest thing you should know about
This
Brian.
is fair. I hate that I've made that my lore, that I hate most things. No, actually, this is one of my probably in the top range, maybe top 3-ish Marvel shows so far. Because boy, have we be slogged down with some fucking heavy shit for no reason. As far as
Yeah.
Marvel stuff goes. So it was
Yeah.
really refreshing to get something that was one, different, and then two, just kind of more lighthearted. One thing that we
Nice.
don't really get in Marvel shows or movies is like a day-to-day life of a superhero or just people that have, superhuman powers or whatever. We get just, they have to go through and fight terrorists or super AI machines or all this shit. And it's just like, no, I want to see
Right.
what you're just fucking, what do you do on a Tuesday? What does a Tuesday look like for someone that's a superhero? And this show kind of scratches that itch. So I had a great time with it. I think it's a very fun watch. It's a very easy watch. 30-minute episodes.
Oh, nice.
I like more of that. Let me get more of that.
I do
boy.
like that.
Right.
And then also the character's very charismatic. It's a good show all around.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can't do anything else but back what Brian said. I think Tatiana Maslany is fucking adorable in this whole show. She knocks it out of the park as both Jen and She-Hulk. I love the show. This is probably I was thinking about this earlier this week as soon as it ended. If I had to rank it, this is top 2 Marvel shows for me now. I have to wait a little while, and it's also because it's different. I still think I like Hawkeye the most because it was just
Wow.
such a short, straight to the point narrative show. And this is kind of the same way. It's funny. I will say that for one thing, it's funny, and like Brian said, with the lightness, especially comparing to everything else that's been happening with shows that are watching with Rings of Power, House of the Dragon, Andor, and this. It was like this was
Very
a breath
heavy.
of fresh air.
Yeah.
Everything was so
Dark.
like dour and just like dramatic, and then this comes out of nowhere, and it's just like fun and funny and light, but also like does tackle some serious stuff towards the end of this. Actually, yeah, it kind of covered the whole range, and I will say like has one of the funniest finales, one of the wildest finales of any Marvel show since. So yeah, I really like this show a lot, and I hope we do get a season 2. I would imagine we would, just to see more of her for her antics, like Brian said, her day-to-day stuff. So yeah, I love the show.
It felt comic booky. In a place
Yeah.
where we've kind of gotten away from feeling comic booky, which I appreciate it.
And I will say, the little that I know of the She-Hulk comics, it does seem to be a very accurate representation of the source material, in the sense that, yeah, sometimes you'll just have a random hero pop up in this random episode for 10 minutes and then they dip out. And
That's cool.
like just a bunch of different heroes in and out. Because that's like a lot of She-Hulk stuff is like she Sometimes she'll help the Avengers. Sometimes she's by herself. Sometimes she'll have a team up with someone else. But yeah, so I think they tackled all that very well. Should we say spoilers at this point? I guess
Yeah, I mean
let's do
we've gone about
spoilers from this
our
point.
yeah, we've gone through our initial
Yeah,
review. Corey's gonna spoil shit now.
so spoilers from this on. Yeah, what'd you think of the CG, Brian?
I had to get used to it. I think it was
Yeah,
pretty weak as a whole. I
Mm.
was trying to find reasons that it wasn't, and I had to just be critical about it. It just wasn't very good in my mind. I thought the animation was a little clunky. I think she looked good in still shots, but I think as soon as she started moving, I started hating it more.
I think it varied episode to episode.
Yeah,
To be
that
honest,
could also be fair.
I
Yeah,
think in some scenes she looks incredible and really good, and then there are just I can't remember. It's like episode 3 or 4, some random middle episode where she's in the office and she's walking, and I was like, that did not look
that
very good.
initial suit was fucking disgusting. She looked so bad in that suit. The lighting was bad on
Yeah.
that suit. It wasn't well rendered. It was just a bad suit. I don't know who
Her
did
lawyer
that.
suit or whatever.
Yeah, and
Granted, her lawyer suit is supposed to be like ill-fitting and terrible on her, but
Hmm.
beyond that, just the weird animations.
Is she always in Hulk mode?
no, and that's what's kind of funny
Not
about
entirely.
it.
Because when she's at work, they have her be in Hulk mode because they hire She-Hulk. That's the point of the show is that she does eventually get
Oh,
hired to be the head of their superhuman law division.
okay.
So they want her She-Hulk to be the face of this division. So when she's in the office, she's always She-Hulk, and that's most of the time you'll see She-Hulk, at least for those early episodes. But yeah, there are times where I'm like, okay, it didn't bother me, and it is like Brian said, you kind of get used to it, and so it didn't really bother me after a while. But again, occasionally, very occasionally, there'll be those weird jarring ones. I was like, oh, that one could have had another once over.
I mean, we talked a little
Hmm.
bit about it when it came off air, as the episodes were airing about like during the fight scenes. I felt like they did the fight scenes very specifically in order to like make her not move so much. And that kind of like made me mad because like she could be doing really cool, like you see what you remember what Hawk does in like the movies and stuff like that. Like he does some crazy shit. And it's like she'll maybe grab a couple things and throw them, but she'll never actually like fully engage with any enemies. And that was kind of
Oh,
pissing me
really?
off. And when she
Interesting.
would, it just wouldn't be dynamic. It felt pretty stiff to me. Like the fighting the bats and stuff
Mm.
like that. I don't know if you remember that, Oscar, the bat
Oh,
fighting.
see, that's the one I was about to bring up that I thought actually did look good. So that's kind of
I didn't
interesting.
love it. I just felt like there were things that she could have done that she wasn't doing, and I felt like it was because they were trying to save money by not making her move so much.
I mean, that is a big controversy we knew before going to the show that a lot of the scenes where she was supposed to be She-Hulk, they changed to her just being Jen because of they needed to save money on the budget.
And then they made fun of it, which is amazing.
Yes, very much so at the end.
Well, okay. So speaking of bad CG, I see someone in the distance loading on my screen. It looks like Devin. Is Devin here?
He's T-posing right now. He's
Look,
getting his animations.
There he is. He's rendering as we speak.
He's buffering. He's
Devin is
buffering.
Devin has
She-Hulk.
arrived.
We didn't pay a lot of money
show.
for him though, so he kind of looks like shit.
Oh, player 4 has entered the room.
Well, that's just the normal quality, you know. That's just the usual 1080p,
Hello, Devin.
you know.
No,
Yeah, listeners, Devin is now here. So now we have a complete Fortress to continue discussing She-Hulk.
Mhm.
Devin, me and Brian already gave our overall thoughts. Do you want to give your overall thoughts real quick on the show?
Okay. General thoughts. I had fun. I'd want to see a lot more of She-Hulk, the character, and maybe a few more of these things. And I think they need to go further into like like for season 2. I think they just need to go further into like just straight comedy and just go like nothing matters. Or I don't know. Just the kind of destruction of the brand that MCU has built was the only problem for the show for me. Of like
Interesting.
everybody has superpowers now. Like Titania has powers. We're just not going to explain that at all. Like this other guy that's immortal. Like, yep, not going to explain that either. Like I feel like before the MCU
his
had a
name
very
is
like
literally like Mr. Immortal. Come on, bro.
but like I just feel like before the MCU had a very good like explain like, hey, this is why this person has superpowers. You know, every superhero like has a pretty clear story. And this show, they just threw all that to the wind. It's like, we're just kind of doing whatever the fuck we want now. It's like,
What if I countered that by saying, at least in the comics, Mr. Immortal is a mutant?
I mean, but they haven't explained that though. Like that's the thing. Like the show, they just throw on.
Can they
like
say
Titania.
mutants yet?
I mean, they haven't said mutant, but in the last episode, we do get the first official in MCU use of the word X-Men. She-Hulk
Oh,
definitely
really?
says X-Men in this, yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Well, but I mean, that doesn't count. the way they did it.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't
Yeah, it
count.
absolutely
count.
does. What are you
That doesn't
talking
count.
about?
Explain,
count at
explain to me
all.
what is happening.
We'll get there. It goes towards the end, so we'll get there at the end. We'll talk about what happened.
Fine.
Yeah.
I had fun. I really, really liked the actor. I just wish it could be a little bit more serious, I guess. Or just
Oh,
a little bit more
interesting.
grounded.
You wanted the comedy to be a little more serious. Okay.
I want no, just want it to be a little bit more grounded in the established universe. That's all. It feels very much like
I
a
see.
departure.
I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, we were talking about the CG. Did you think it was terrible? Because me and Brian were both on the fence. We're like, some parts yes, some parts no. Also, kind of got used to it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like for what it was doing, it was good enough. Like, but yeah, you're right. There were definitely some parts that kind of, if you look at it very closely, you'd be like, ooh, that's kind of bad. And like they could have cut one scene in particular and put all that time and effort to do other scenes better. And I think the overall show would have been a lot better. I think we all know the scene I'm talking about. But
I'm curious.
I'm assuming you're complaining about the ending more again.
no.
Oh, then I don't know what you're talking about.
Megan Thee Stallion.
No, keep that in.
Megan Thee Stallion's in the show?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
She makes
Yeah.
a cameo.
That's cool as shit. Does she have superpowers?
She does.
Megan
Not.
Thee
No,
Stallion's
she's
cool.
literally just the real life person that she is.
I mean, have you
Dope.
seen her knees? Those are superpowers. If anything,
Okay.
I can't bend down that low.
But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, CG was fine, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of post-credit scenes throughout, mostly the first like 4 or 5 episodes, and the one where Megan Thee Stallion cameoed. The post-credits or mid-credit scene is She-Hulk and her twerking, and the internet fucking
Oh,
went wild.
I think I saw some memes about that. Yeah.
I think the worst part about that scene was that she was still wearing that ugly ass suit.
Yes.
That suit-
I think that's what
Yes.
ruined the entire scene. I would have not had any problem with that scene. I don't care about people. "Oh, you don't like this scene, does?" I don't give a fuck. But why she look
Yeah.
so ugly doing it?
I agree.
That's
But
that
that
suit,
goofy
yeah.
ass, like bad CGI suit just made it worse.
She looked raggedy.
Somebody like took the time. Some whole team of people made the time to do that scene and CGI that and like put in lighting and textures
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and like motion capture. There's a lot of
I
work
love
that went
it.
into that scene.
Get goofy. Who cares?
I
It was
go back
goofy.
and forth with it though. I don't really love when things get so pushed into pop culture because then they date themselves. So then it makes it
Yeah.
hard to
Right,
watch
right.
later
That's
when
fair.
that pop
Right.
culture doesn't matter nearly as much. The Fortnite thing that they did in Avengers. It was just like,
Right.
I just
Yeah.
don't like doing that because then it just makes it like it's like Lord of the Rings popping in. They're like, oh well, I also got my Starbucks, and it's like,
Yeah.
Well, Game of Thrones did that.
yeah, I'm about to
true.
say.
Maybe not on purpose, but they did it.
Yeah.
Sophie Turner really needed her vape real bad.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like, that's kind of the whole vibe of the show, right? It didn't take itself very seriously, and I really appreciated that in certain moments. But I feel like when it's in the MCU, which is this established cast of characters, established way to get superpowers, stuff like that, and then you just throw in all this random shit, it's just like, I don't know, it just felt a little too loose.
I would
for
say
my
there's
taste.
not really an established way to get superpowers.
I was about to
Everyone
say.
already had powers except for Hulk and Captain America, and they both got it nearly the same way, trying to do the same thing.
I mean, true, but they at least explain like when people show up, right? Like Winter Soldier doesn't just show up randomly. Like, yeah, that's just another super being. It's like
But do you want an origin for every one of those characters? Do you want a Mr. Immortal origin?
I just don't want Mr. Immortal to casually just pop into the show. Like, yeah, I've been here the whole time.
Mr. Immortal doesn't bother me so much because I think we're this far through the universe to the point where it's like, yeah, like we know a lot of people have superpowers in this world now. Like it's pretty established that like people just show up all the time and just be like, yeah. It reminds me a lot of like My Hero Academia, where it's just like it seems like a lot of people just have powers
Mhm.
and you just kind of accept that. I'm just kind of born with it, whatever.
But not everybody's main character energy in movies.
This is true.
Right.
This is true. Sometimes all you can do is your eyes blinking to change the channel, like that guy in X-Men 2.
Useless ass dude.
But what I thought when I was thinking, like, I can see where you're coming from, Devin, is Titania specifically, because I just don't feel like she seemed like she was supposed to be more of a main
Mhm.
person in this.
That's fair,
And not so
yeah.
much of just a meme. But then she got no origin, which kind of just like really
Right.
solidified her as a meme, which made her appearing feel more stupid to me every time she did pop up. It felt like nothing.
To put it in context, like the first time she appears, it's like in a courtroom and she just blasts into a courtroom for no reason whatsoever and just like starts attacking the jury, which, She-Hulk then has to turn into herself, whatever. But like, why though? Like, that's so random. First of all, where did you even
'Cause
come from? Like,
fuck
I don't
them
know. It's
kids.
just, to me, it was just like too loose of like, just go with it because like MCU before the modern phase has been very tight with like, no, this is like, there's an explanation for everything. And in this show, there was no explanation
That's
for
fair.
anything.
I guess also the reason why I didn't mind it as much is this, and because the creator Jessica Gao was a writer on Rick and Morty. this is full of Rick and Morty energy.
Right.
And I love Rick and
A lot of
Morty,
Rick and Morty
and that's
energy.
why
That
it's
is
very
funny.
much like just go with it
This
type of
episode's
shit,
a random
you know?
episode about completely nothing for no reason. Yeah. That's very Rick and
Yeah.
Morty energy for sure.
I
Yeah,
like
so
that.
it didn't
Definitely.
really bother me. That also might be my mindset as so yeah, that's fair though.
That's true.
Yeah, Titania overall was kind of a joke for she was mostly a punching bag for She-Hulk throughout the series, and I definitely also thought she was going to be a little bit more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. I really do love the performance of, I don't know the actor's name, but She-Hulk. I mean, I want her in every Avengers thing going
She's
forward.
great.
Like,
She's
she was
fantastic.
so awesome. Like, and I think it makes me want to watch her show that I think put her on the map, Orphan Black.
Orphan Black, yeah.
Oh yeah, I hear that's a really great show.
I want to check that out.
I don't think that show's funny though.
No,
No.
not at all. Not at all. Very different vibe. But yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
just like, she was very, very charismatic. Probably like of the best thing to come out of the new phase
Word.
was just her
Yeah.
in general. And like,
That's cool.
I don't know, I just want to see her on like a lot of team up stuff, things like that, because she was definitely the best thing.
So I have a question. Why is
Mhm.
She-Hulk so in control of her? Well, based on what I've
Ooh.
seen in marketing, why is she so in control of her emotions and stuff, and not like rage face?
Alex, because she explains to Bruce Banner that as a woman in our society, you constantly have to check your emotions,
Word.
and like people make you mad. You get told you're too emotional, you get told you're too bossy, too confident,
Yep.
whatever. So she's like, basically controlling your emotions is just the kind of the state of being for women, which I really appreciated that sentiment.
That's cool.
Yeah, so she was basically just immediately able to control it because she's
Wow.
used to it already.
She's just better at it.
So she's just a better Hulk, hands down.
Which doesn't say
Yeah.
much about Bruce Banner, that he had to go to like therapy for years to get control of his emotions.
Follow-up question: Is Bruce always in Hulk mode now?
Yeah.
So basically, in the first episode is the origin of She-Hulk. Funny enough, this was actually, I think, meant to be the second to last episode of the season, and then Kevin Feige said, "No, let's flip it," and so it became the premiere, which is kind of hilarious, and it still works though. But it's interesting to think about. So basically, it's very similar to her comic origin, where she's in a car crash and a little bit of Bruce's blood because he is a human, which we were all kind of surprised about because last time we saw him, he was Smart Hulk, but he had like an inhibitor, so he would normal Bruce Banner, and then they get into a car crash because an alien spaceship tries to cut them off, which more on that later.
Naturally.
Yeah. And so some of Bruce's blood gets into her arm, which has a cut, and then she just immediately turns into She-Hulk. And then
Damn. So Hulk's got like some Hulk STDs.
Basically.
yeah, that's
You got Hulk
that's always been a
Jeez.
thing.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I thought it could only work because she was closely related to him, but I don't know.
I mean, it
Huh.
works. It works. Like she didn't like blow up or die, I would imagine, because of that. But like his blood would do some weird mutation shit to anybody.
Mhm.
There's a scene in that Eric Norton one where he actually cuts himself as he's working on at that bottle factory, and it gets some blood on one of the bottles, and he freaks the fuck out and immediately has to go find it and wipe it clean and glue his finger shut. Like, yeah,
Wow.
his blood's
Yeah.
bad.
Interesting.
But yeah, so that's how she gets her powers, and then there's a nice cool montage at the Hulk's. I think they're in Mexico. I think is that right?
Cancun, something like that.
And he's got like a nice little like a namaste resort where he trains her, but she's immediately
Mhm.
just better at everything. And so they do have the in joke where he's like, he has like a Bible, like a giant book that has like, this is
Yeah.
what I've had to live off for the 10 years to control this. And he just tosses like chapters out because she's just mastering everything. It's a great sequence. I was actually like really impressed by both the CGI and just like the funness of that
That's cool.
that whole episode.
Okay, and last question about this whole world that we're in for the show. I saw a meme about this current Hulk getting smashed by like a boulder that she throws or whatever, or something like, or no, it's a truck. He gets like run over by a truck, but in all the other Marvel movies, he's like running over the trucks. So is he weaker now, or are they just not being very smart about things?
I mean, Smart Hulk is always weaker than when he was normal Angry Hulk. Like even in comics, like he's not as big. It's because he's just like
He's
tamer.
tamed down.
He's not as angry.
Mhm.
Because
Interesting.
naturally, the Hulk typically in comics gets bigger the angrier he is.
Right.
It was one of the
Wow.
criticisms of the show is how they've dealt with the Hulk and how they kind of made everyone a little bit more of a goofy character, maybe nerfed them a little bit to make them fit in the universe.
I do miss a really mean Hulk.
Yeah, we're kind of due for it now.
I mean, are we? I kind of thought the same thing, but then I was like, we've had Angry Hulk for everything except for Infinity War. or Endgame.
Oh,
He
really?
was still angry in Ragnarok. He was just
yeah.
kind of talking to Thor, but like he wasn't smart. He's only smart in one movie.
True.
So I don't know.
Wow,
I
you're
don't know.
right. It feels like he's been smart for too long.
Yeah.
People have criticized that for sure.
Yeah, we could
That's
we could
funny.
use some of the OG Hulk again, I think.
It might also be because like we haven't gotten a solo Hulk movie, so you
That's
know what I
probably
mean.
it.
But yeah, I don't know how you guys felt about that whole first episode. We're not gonna probably jump as from story beat to story beat, kind of just talk overall about these.
Yeah, what are the big things that happen, and why should I watch
Mhm.
this show?
I guess first and foremost, I think it's really funny. I think it's a really funny written show. Not every joke lands, but for the most part, like I had
It
a
sounds
ball.
like it's funny.
Once it found its footing, it got really good. There was definitely good
Yeah.
jokes throughout, but I definitely think like once it got to like third or fourth episode, they just started hitting them. Some of those jokes
Yeah.
were so fucking good, and that's coming from Marvel jokes are pretty fucking worn out as a whole to me personally. Where everything like my issue with Thor is that everything feels like it has to be a joke, that it can be serious. I think they did the
Mhm.
best balance of a Marvel property in a while when it came to
Yeah.
balancing the jokes with the more serious moments that needed to be.
Yeah, there were a few times where I really like laughed out loud in this one. Like they definitely nailed the comedy part for sure.
I mean, one of the funniest episodes is when Wong shows up. Granted, he shows up a couple of times, but there's one specific episode where they introduced the MCU's newest fan favorite mascot in Madison. I don't know how you guys
Madison,
about
you
it.
don't know
Oh
where the
my
Y
God.
is.
She's just introduced as like a drunk bridesmaid, but she very quickly became one of the best and funniest characters in the show, and apparently like best friends with Wong by the end of it. And I just love
Mhm.
how they were best buds.
Nice.
Wong is in everything now, man. Wong does
Yeah.
everything.
Phase
he
Wong,
can
man,
get.
he's
Yeah, he's
great.
pretty cool.
Phase Wong said you said.
Yeah, I mean, they even make the joke about how like, oh, look, Wong's in this episode, so at least we'll have Twitter armor for the next week, and they're right. Put Wong in something, and the internet won't get mad.
Yeah, I remember the trailer. They were like, she was breaking the fourth wall and like talking to herself. What's up with all that
Mhm.
stuff?
Well, okay, that's probably the biggest thing of the show, but yeah, she definitely breaks the fourth wall.
From episode 1, she's breaking the fourth wall, which I love. It's great.
I mean, making it
Mm.
kind of comic booky, kind of Deadpoolish, which is I think akin to her actual comics, so that makes it kind of interesting.
Now, see,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
feel like Deadpoolish, I think, would be a tasteful amount. I feel like that would be like, maybe just the right amount of fourth wall breaking. I feel like taking
Oh,
it a
no,
little too
Devin.
far would be what this show chose to do,
Oh,
which I don't know if we want to get into it now, but this is like
No, we're not there yet. I refuse to let this man go to the ending until the end.
it killed the show for me. It absolutely killed it.
We'll get to it, but man, Devin, you are on the wrong side of history right now.
I'm not.
I definitely think I get your criticisms. I definitely do, but I'd like to see what your full opinion is on it when we do get to it.
I will
'Cause
die on the hill.
I do think that the
I'm
opposite end of the
excited.
spectrum would have been awful. So I'm glad they made fun of that. But we'll get to it.
They introduced the Abomination again, Emil Blonsky from the Incredible
Mhm.
Hulk, and
Oh, cool.
That was funny.
I like how his character. He's much like Hulk. He's namaste'd out. He no longer wants to
word.
be the Abomination, and so Jen gets hired to be his lawyer in the case of
Yeah.
whether or not he has to stay in prison or not, and she wins it on account that he explained he was sorry, and also he just wanted to be for all he knew he was a super soldier that was going to be the next Captain America. That's all in his mindset, which I don't
True.
really quite believe if you go back and watch that movie,
Right,
but
right.
whatever.
He does not have the best intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he gets off and he goes to this weird. It's basically a cult. I'm not gonna lie. I saw that. I was like, yo, he's gonna be the next. What was that scary cult that came out?
Midsummer? That's what it felt like to me.
I mean that too. Yes. No, I was talking about Real World though. The scary world ones. Yeah.
Most times white people get together.
Church of
Yeah.
Latter-day Saints, Mormons.
Mormons.
Either way, he is no longer Abomination. He has an inhibitor, so he can't. And if he breaks that, then he goes straight back to jail. So yeah,
Mhm.
that was like that. This was the era of those episodes where they're just bouncing cameos of major characters in and out. Like we got Wong.
They criticized that as well. They were just saying that they're just making everything too goofy when it's like some of these characters were the most, abominable characters in the MCU, and now they're just a bunch of guys just, guying, broing out. Hey, bro,
Right.
wanna
I mean,
hang?
how'd you guys feel about that? To me, I mean, I didn't care. So
I'm telling you, Marvel is getting to about the point that Star Wars has gotten to me, where I just have to accept that it's stupid and just be okay with that.
Yeah.
So that's why I can't care too much about this anymore. It's been how many years of my life that I've dedicated to this stupid fucking property. I can't care, so it doesn't matter to me. I don't know,
Yeah.
and that makes me like it more. I think that's one of the reasons I think I enjoyed the show so much more, because they stopped trying to be so damn up their own ass, I guess, with it.
right.
And I feel like that's what
Mhm.
kind
And
of
if
the
you're going
MCs
to, this is the property to do it. With a
Exactly.
person that can break the fourth wall. Like, she's known in the comics for literally drawn as ripping open the panels to talk to the writer of writing saying like, what the hell are you doing? Why are we writing this story? This is terrible. Like, she's known to do that.
That's
And
funny.
so I think it's kind of perfect for
And
this to
that's
do
the
it.
thing. Yeah, everyone always goes back to, but the comics. Listen, I don't read the comics. I'm not going to read the comics. I'm 30.
Right.
I don't have time to read 130 damn comics. So I don't care what happened in the comics. This was happening on the TV. I like it. It's fun. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it
Right.
at that. Like,
Yeah.
Right. It just erodes the established brand that the MCU built.
I don't give a fuck about it. The brand needs to reestablish because right now we're getting the same thing for the past 10 years and I need something different.
Which is true. That's a
Listen,
fair
man, we've been
point.
eating pork chops for fucking 10 years now. I'm ready to eat something
Right.
else. Like,
I want some
That is a
chicken
very
now.
fair point.
One interesting criticism I did notice of this show was She-Hulk's drinking. I believe she drank in every single episode of that TV show. I don't know if there was one episode that she did not drink. And people were like,
You're probably right.
homegirl might be an alcoholic. That's a little
Oh,
weird.
no.
Maybe
Oh,
she has
no.
a tough job and needs to relax.
She is a lawyer.
Yeah, she's a lawyer.
A lawyer in LA. I would
True.
drink too. She was definitely dealing with a
Yeah.
lot of very LA adjacent stuff of namaste
right.
weirdo cult people and also just the worst influencers of social media that were also superheroes.
I was about to say, let's get into her dating real quick. But before we hop into that, I like the fact that she's portrayed as just a fucking young 30-year-old that's living their lives. Like, yeah, she drinks every day. Yeah, she wants to have sex. Yeah, she date. Like, I kind of enjoyed that.
She-Hulk
We haven't
fucks.
seen that at all.
She-Hulk fucks.
Yeah, let's talk about that. She-Hulk fucks
A few times.
Can
quite a
she
bit.
give out deadly blood STDs?
Bro, she
No.
I don't think she's bleeding on people.
They better be wearing protection.
She's not bleeding on them when she's fucking them.
Oscar, I don't know if you know how
I
STDs
know,
are
but, like-
transmitted, but it's not just blood.
I know, but you just said blood. All we know is her blood is bad, not her spit or anything
Listen,
else.
if we need to go back to health class, we can take it there.
He's basically
Jesus.
saying a week out of the month she can't.
I'm assuming they are transmitted sexually and through blood-borne pathogens.
Oh, you think she
Well-
you think
Maybe
she got
even
Hulk
spit.
TDs?
Sneezes, yeah, they got to mask up.
Oh my god.
Oh my
We
god.
can't be too careful.
Anyways,
That's not my biggest worry. The biggest worry is the fact that she's 6'8" and can fucking pow drive me with
She
one
might
finger.
kill you.
One thrust and
Yeah.
I'm done for. Are you kidding
But
me?
what a death that would be.
Death by snoo snoo.
Like a praying mantis.
Yeah, so I think that was my biggest issue with the show is, man, it makes me not want to move to LA because every dude there is a giant D-bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Accurate representation.
she is adorable as Jen and She-Hulk, and all these guys are like, ew,
Oh, yeah.
she's not the big green
Yeah.
woman. She's it's like very 90s like teen movie where like the girl has the glasses so she's ugly. It's like, are you insane? What is wrong with you people?
All those dudes were clowns. All of them.
Yeah. The least grounded thing about this show was thinking that this actor was ugly. And people
I
thinking
know.
that they wouldn't want to be with her when she's not She-Hulk. And I'm like, not only is she a successful lawyer, she's also a superhero, and she's super cute. And you're telling me that you don't
Yeah.
like this woman? You're like, ugh, you're not 6'8" and fucking green. Disgusting. It's like, this woman's cute as shit. And she's a
Right.
lawyer. What do you do? A social media influencer for cheese? Fuck off. You suck. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, that made me mad.
Amen to that.
Oh, so she was dating people as her norm, so she can on and off her She-Hulkness.
Yeah.
yeah, she,
like
did,
that.
she did it both ways. She
So yeah, she tried dating as just Jen, and that didn't work out. And so she decided to try dating as She-Hulk. And surprise, surprise, it also didn't work out.
Oh, damn.
She was also meeting just different kinds of douchebags.
But what she had to do was she had to switch it to do some superhero dating. And then it worked out pretty good.
Hey.
Segue.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That was that the second to last episode, I think? Yeah,
Either that or the 7th. I can't remember.
something like
Yeah, one of
that.
them.
We get Daredevil.
Daredevil's in this show
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
for some reason.
probably the best episode of the whole season.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
would say.
He's over in New York, right?
Yeah.
They take care of that.
Yes.
They take care of that.
He's high profile, baby.
I think my favorite thing about this is that we got like every iteration of Matt Murdock that I wanted to. Like the first time he shows up, we get a lawyer off between them, and I love that. That's
Cool.
how he's introduced in the show, and I thought that was all well done. And then you get a nice scene with them at the bar, and then obviously you get Daredevil. But like
Mhm.
I think as considering that episode wasn't like extended, it was still only like 25 minutes long. They got through a
They
lot.
covered a lot. And it
in
didn't
the
feel
short
rushed
amount of
at
time.
any point.
They
in the movie,
did,
at least.
yeah. Yeah.
It was really well done.
And he kicked some ass, which is kind of hard because like I'm going like my girlfriend's been watching through the Marvel or the at Netflix Daredevil show.
Ugh.
And like the first
Oh,
season,
boy.
but like before he has a suit or anything, and he's like having a hard time with like one person, and it's like now he can just take on 30 people at once and it's no problem. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
That's funny that she wanted to watch those shows because I guess that's probably the only one I could recommend.
But yeah, they have a cool little team up and very cool action sequence. Hilariously awful villain. That dude was just absolute garbage.
Oh my god.
He's a shithead.
Rip it and rip it.
Oh my god.
I like how he brands all his stuff with, like, he's got old Frogger arcade machines in his lair.
That's vintage.
He put jet fuel in his fucking feet.
Oh, what a moron.
Wow.
You go fast,
Yeah.
buddy.
But yeah, I thought all the cool homages to, like, they even got like a cool musical cue from the original Daredevil show in
Yeah.
there at one point. They gave him a hallway fight, which I thought was absolutely fucking hilarious.
And then they ruined it with She-Hulk.
She just comes in and smashes it and is like, no. Because they're constantly fighting about whether or not they want to take this down stealthily or just smash their way like She-Hulk style. And they kind of do a combo of both and end up being a good team together to the point where they're lawyering each other off as they're kicking ass, which I thought was hilarious.
Nice.
That was funny.
That sounds like a great dynamic.
Yeah, it's a very funny.
Yeah,
thing.
they think they had probably one of the better dynamics I've seen in a while when it came to those kind of team up stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. Also, Daredevil's way more acrobatic now. Like, and so I kind of like. There was a little times where I was like, it looked a little too rubbery, but that's not the actor or anything's fault. That's budget stuff. But as far as like him actually being acrobatic, some of that stuff I was like, oh, well, this is cool. You didn't see any of this in Daredevil on Netflix. And Netflix, he hopped over one roof and then that was it.
No, I mean with all hands every day. He wasn't doing no flips. He just punching.
Yeah, they definitely MCUified him. I like his suit. His suit was pretty cool too.
I didn't think I was gonna like the gold.
Spiffy.
She put it with the ketchup and mustard.
See, just
he looks like Ronald McDonald.
MCU just has to make it a little brighter, a little bit easier to look at. A little bit friendlier.
Right.
That's what they do.
Considering he's the devil.
Any amount of grit and grime is removed from all these characters, which is fine.
And then they fuck.
Yeah.
Which I do love Daredevil's walk of shame in costume.
That was
at the
so
end.
funny. In full costume. Why didn't you just put his boots on?
Yeah, what was his shoes
Yeah.
off?
Put your boots back on, buddy. Or at least have a change of clothes.
Do they have sex like in costume as the superheroes?
I mean, they're
I don't wanna
taking
know.
them off as.
I think she's regular Jen, and he's just naked.
Yeah, she was regular
Okay.
Jen. at
Do you
the
think
time.
you would care as a blind man?
No. Daredevil is the horniest dude in Marvel. Like, he fucks like
I
all
don't
the
know,
time.
man. Ray Charles used to be really fucking disrespectful to women, even though you couldn't see him. He used to feel their
Ugh.
wrists to figure out whether or not he wanted to take them
Jesus
home.
Christ, Brian.
Yeah, that was a real thing. That's canon.
Oh no, that's canon.
Oh no.
Yikes.
Anywho,
So yeah, no, Daredevil I thought was great. I can't wait to, and I'm hoping since we know he's getting a show that maybe she'll make an appearance.
true.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I see Matt Murdock doing his thing again, it makes me feel a little bit better about the fact that that show's going to be long as shit. That show is supposed to be a ton of episodes.
I know. Was it like
Hmm.
16, 18
Yeah,
or some shit like
crazy
that?
like that. Something Netflix level.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
interesting.
So I'm glad I liked him because if I didn't, this is going to be a hard 18 episodes.
Wait, you know what? I just thought about something. He's in New York, Spider-Man's in New York, all this stuff. And then, She-Hulk's in LA.
She's the only LA superhero.
Like, why is there not...
No one cares about the Midwest, Devin. We
No,
let
no,
them
like
die.
Chicago,
It's too cold.
Miami,
We definitely need
Paris.
somebody in Chicago. Please, God.
London,
A Paris superhero would be pretty cool.
Toronto.
Too cold.
Yeah, they probably, I think they have like a Canada man.
Yeah, they got Captain Canada.
Yeah.
Captain Maple. I don't know.
I think it's Drake, right? It's just
The Maple.
It's just
big enough.
Drake. Please don't put him in the MCU.
Why do they all have to be in New York? I don't...
This is true. New York's
That's where
not that
all
bad.
that's where
Jesus.
all the crime is. That's where all the villains go to take over the world.
No one wants to take over the Midwest, like Brian said, so there's no crime.
No, Chicago's fighting for their life. You're in Philly right now. Philly's fighting for their life right now. They could use a
Yeah.
Philly
Philly
fucking
could use a
superhero.
superhero. Seattle,
I don't know about Marvel,
San
but at least
Francisco.
Philly's got Shazam in DC.
Honolulu. You could have like a conservation villain
Mm.
/ hero.
What you're saying is the Avengers need to outsource more.
Yeah.
They need to get out
I
there.
think I agree with you.
They probably should stretch their legs. I think there
It's
was
true.
a this is a tangent. There was some movie I saw. I can't remember the name of it, but the bad guys were like, "Oh well, if we're taking over the world, like, why would we use the front door and go to like Washington D.C. or New York City? Like, we're gonna invade the Midwest."
Right.
I wish I could remember the name of that movie. It was pretty good. It
mean, they're
definitely
right.
wasn't a comedy.
Fuck the Midwest.
Damn, I'll come back to
When
it.
it, when it
I don't
comes to
know.
you, tell us. Because I think I like that premise.
No, I'm with you, Devin. That makes a lot of sense. I think we should definitely get
Oh,
on that.
I forgot.
Oh, damn it.
Jesus Christ. Oh
You
my
got, like,
god.
in the comics, they got like 80 superheroes in New York City, and then somehow they have like the Sinister Six and like the Kingpin and all that shit. Like they wouldn't have shut that down on day one. I mean, fuck off.
I figured it out.
What is it?
What is
It's
it?
The Faculty. It is kind of a comedy. Do you guys see that?
No, I've never seen
No.
it.
Yeah, I love that movie,
Yeah,
but
that's a great
I
movie.
didn't think of it.
Because they're like aliens like
Oh, okay,
invading people and taking
Right.
over. And one of them says like why are you guys here? Like, well, we're taking over the world, and we're starting small. Like, why would we go to New York City? We'd probably get caught. Like, you guys are idiots.
That's funny.
All right, so one of the other episodes deals with Titania a little more. She steals, literally copyrights the name She-Hulk. I thought that was kind of a hilarious episode.
Wow.
It was lawyer
Mhm.
stuff.
Once again, lawyer stuff, which I appreciate. They probably could have used more lawyering in this show,
Yeah,
but
agreed.
I love how we've made lawyer a verb.
Yeah.
do some lawyering.
I did some lawyering
Yeah,
the other day.
just some
Like,
lawyering.
lawyered this, lawyered that.
yeah. That was one of the episodes where I love a title change where they just fuck with the title. They did it quite a bit in this show where it was just She-Hulk, attorney at law, and when she loses her job, it becomes She-Hulk, something for hire, hero, or I can't remember, something like that. At one
Nice.
point, she's like, "I'm not She-Hulk, I'm just Jen." They changed the title to Just Jen. This one with Titania was like She-Hulk by Titania. Like, I love shit like that. I think
That's
that's so much fun. They fuck around with it. Yeah, so the
Mhm.
Just Jen episode is when she goes to a wedding. I have to this question to pose you guys. Is Jen in the right or in the wrong for showing up at that wedding as She-Hulk?
I get both sides.
I need some context to
So
answer.
okay, so the context is that she shows up to this wedding that she didn't really want to go to, but she has to, and she shows up hot as fuck as She-Hulk wearing this dress, and the bride is pissed because she's like, why would you show up here as She-Hulk and steal my thunder?
Yeah, but the bride was shitty.
So-
It's basically the same thing as like your best friend is Drake. And it's like, this is my wedding, but if I
Why
send
do we keep going back to Drake?
because we've been talking about him. He's captain in Toronto or whatever. He's a superhero in this
I'm
universe.
invested. I understand. I get
He's
it.
Captain Maple Leaf.
He's Captain Maple Leaf. But it's like when you show any pictures on Facebook, no one's gonna be like, "Oh my god, you look so pretty." They're gonna be like, "Yo, was that Drake?" You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like,
True.
well, fuck. Like this is supposed to be my day. I paid $1,000.
But they invited Drake. They
They
invited
did
him.
invite Drake. So I
Yeah.
mean,
They invited She-Hulk.
I understand both sides.
In her defense, they asked her to like clean up tables and stuff like that when she was in Gen form. So fuck them.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no, she was a terrible.
She was shitty.
bride.
So it made it pretty easy.
Yeah, she was shitty.
to
Bridezilla.
make you not like her,
I'm Team Gen all the way forever.
no
So,
matter what she does.
There was a part of me that was like, you were gonna steal the show with this. Like, you knew what you was doing.
Yeah,
Sounds like it.
She wanted to feel hot.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Good
she's
for
better
her.
friends.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
bad friend. That girl's a bad person.
That episode was kind of cool. That got us to the intro of Josh, who I was so upset by the
I
end
was
of this
rooting for
with
you, Josh. I was rooting
Man,
for
I
you.
literally wrote on my notes. I wrote, "Cool, she's dating Josh," and then in all caps, "Please don't be evil."
Yeah. So for
Mm.
context, Josh was this lovely little Asian man that was very pretty that liked Jen a whole lot allegedly, and they were having like great chemistry. Things are going really well. It turns out Josh is a sweaty fucking 4chan nerd that wants to kill She-Hulk.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the subplot throughout this. Is eventually there's basically like a 4chan in the Marvel universe. It's called
Yeah.
Intelligentsia.
A bunch
It's
of
basically where a
incels.
bunch of incels collect themselves to talk shit about, in this case, She-Hulk, to the point where they even have death threats and questions like, "How do we kill She-Hulk?" on there. And so it's like,
Oof.
oh,
It's
damn.
basically just a living collection of internet comments of like, I'd have these same complaints if she was a man. Like
It was
that's
it was
right.
so
funny.
on the nose of what actually happened to the show, which is so funny.
And
I
I love
loved
the,
it.
the lawyer friend like egging them on, like, yeah, like I hate her, like she slept with the boss, like, yeah, like it's like she didn't even earn it. I love the line from the other friend too before she goes in. It's like, oh, and remember, refer to women as females, like
Right.
females.
Ugh. So that's like the villain of the show.
The internet.
We'll get to that. Yeah,
Which
basically.
is so funny considering how the internet reacted to the show as a whole.
It was great.
No, listen, we're already there. We're already at the end.
Sometimes the
All
jokes
let's
tell
just get
themselves.
to it. Let's get into
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Wait, real quick. I do want to point out there is the episode where she goes back to the retreat with Emil, and there are characters in there that are also mutants, like the dude who has the El Aguila who fights Manbull. The two of them have a beef. He is
Ugh.
actually a mutant as well, which is why he's got that bioelectricity.
Bullshit.
I loved all those fun characters. There's a fucking vampire man there.
Wow.
Like, what? There's just a vampire hanging out.
So stupid.
I loved it. Throw them all in there. Make Devin mad.
I don't know. It makes me think like Pixar and stuff like that. Where it's
They
kind
didn't
of like a
they
little
didn't
like
explain
NA.
any of them. No explanation for any of these people. Like
They did. He said
Stupid.
this guy thinks he's a vampire. This guy's a Manbull.
a man
I
bull
don't know.
in the MCU.
Man Bull.
I mean, it's in the comics. What do you want? You don't want to see an origin
Devin,
of Manbull.
There's a man that is made out of sand. Why is the man bull where you fucking draw the line of the sand?
Right?
Like what?
It's because he saw the origin of the Man of Sand.
Sandman does
Brian.
have an origin.
He's named the Sandman.
They took the Rick and Morty shit too far in this one. All right, literally down to the naming. That's some shit that Rick and Morty would do.
The man.
Nah, not about
that's
it.
funny.
Not about it.
But yeah, so all right, we're in the ending. The last episode.
Mhm.
Finally,
Jen.
what happens?
Well, actually, right before that, Jen, the reason we're here is because Jen has a mental breakdown because Josh, who ends up being a total prick, made a sex tape of her without her consent and put it on that website,
Wow.
and it all got out, and
Not
she
cool,
freaked out. She
Josh.
hulked out.
Not cool.
So now she was potentially going to be put in that same cell as Abomination, but she makes a deal. She can no longer be She-Hulk. She has to be a normal Jen. She loses her job. She moves back home. She's not very happy, and so she goes back to Emil's place to just kind of have like a mental health break, as she says it. And this is where you realize that there's also an intelligentsia gathering there. And
Mhm.
Emil Blonsky has been, if I had to say one thing, Emil needs to scope out these places where he's going to have these talks at and figure out if he should have talks there or not. Because he's just like, I'll talk for anybody.
Right.
Nazis,
Mhm.
these people, like, what are you doing,
This is how you
Emil?
get canceled,
What are you
bro.
doing?
Yeah, bad.
Not great.
Wow.
Okay, so wait, let me take you through the finale, Alex. Okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what happens. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
So then, as she's like confronting this head leader of like this guy who, by the way, what she went on a date with earlier, and he's like this, trash tech bro.
Wait, I have to point out the moment that dude Wakanda forever'd, I was like, no,
Yep.
Oh my
nope,
god.
this guy, he's done. He's
What?
done. He's out. He's out.
He's like
Yeah.
a really sniveling like white dude. Anyway, so he has a vial of her blood, and he like starts to take it, and then he starts turning into
Uh-oh.
Hulk, right?
Oh boy.
And then Abomination comes in, and then Bruce Banner comes in to decide, and Titania comes in, and it's just all utter absolute chaos. And then She-Hulk pauses the show, and she's like, "Wait a minute, this is trash." She goes into the Disney Plus menu, like of all the Disney Plus shows, literally cracks out of the screen, goes into another one, walks into the studio where they're writing the
The
show.
ultimate fourth wall break.
I'm not making this up. She walks into the studio where the writers are writing the show for She-Hulk on Disney Plus. And they're all sitting there like shooting the shit. And I get it. It's funny. This is what the writing rooms are like. Oh, like, well, let's have the Hulks come back. And she's like, this is garbage. I need to go talk to Kevin. And they're like, what do you mean? Kevin's not a real thing. And she's like, yeah, I got to go talk to Kevin. She fights her way up to Kevin, which turns out to be a robot that looks a lot like, it has like the hat, I think, of like Kevin Feige.
Nice.
And Kevin is like Kevin, which has like an acronym, stands for something.
It's like Fallout 3, right?
Yes, very
Yeah.
much
Yes.
so. Yeah.
And she's like, oh, like Kevin's like, no, this is the formula. This is what you do with each Marvel property. And she's like, no. Like, and then she roasts him a lot, which she had some good roasts in there. But
Oh,
then she's
wow.
like, okay, we're going to take out this. We're going to take out this. We're going to change this. We're going to have this during the daytime. And then they just cut back to the show without any resolution whatsoever. And just immediately go to like basically roll the credits. Like after like 2 more minutes of just like closure. It's just like no
Well,
climax.
wait, what happens
whatsoever.
after? What I don't understand. What happens after that Kevin Feige scene? They cut back to the show.
Yes, she just goes back into the show.
So basically, she says, Devin's missing some key details here to make his point.
I have too many questions.
I'm leading the audience.
So basically, after she says goodbye to Kevin, or like Kevin kicks her out. He's like, all right, I'm done with you. You're never going to see me ever again. We're done here. And so he makes the joke earlier when she shows up as She-Hulk. And he's like, can you change it back to normal Jen? It's because you're very expensive. They're pointing out their own mistakes all the time. She's like, all right, fine. He's like, but wait, do it when the camera's not on you. And so it cuts back to Kevin. He's like, all right, do it now. And it cuts back to her and she's normal Jen. It's great.
Nice.
And so she's like, all right, so to leave, she's like, all right, so how do I go back? Is there a budget friendly way? And that's why it instantly just cuts back to the scene later.
With all the different Hulks in the room still?
No, that's all been resolved.
No,
at this
because
point.
she took them all out.
Yeah.
She makes Bruce Banner dip out. Abomination is normal guy again, and she makes him go back to jail and accept accountability. Todd never became a Hulk. She cuts that because she says it's stupid. And he just goes to jail, or he gets arrested, and she's like, I'll see you in court. And she's going to deal with him in court. I will
Right.
agree on that point, Devin, where I do wish we got a little more with that.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
time constraints, and I wish they had made the episode a little longer. I will be fair
I
with
think
that.
I agree with Devin on that as well, where it comes down to a point where it's like, because they wanted to make such a fucking joke out of the spectacle of this, they didn't actually put any closure in the show. There was like
Mhm.
nothing really got solved because they basically made it so nothing really happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it ended.
Because like
and it was
you
kinda
don't get her, she didn't get a moment to actually like confront the guy that was in head of this incel group. Like a moment that we
Right.
all would like to see is like somebody smack down an incel, right? And like, sure, she'll do it in court, and that's kind of what they insinuate with the credits. But like,
Mhm.
it just would have been nice to have a little bit more of like actual dialogue there.
Yeah.
And like, if you're not going to do a fighty climax, which I'm all about not doing that because we've seen that so many times. You're right, but like, give her a platform, like give her an actual thing to speak instead of just like, let's go talk to the robot behind all the Marvel movies. It's just like it was way too.
I still love that bit. I think that bit was
that
great.
sounds pretty funny. That sounds pretty.
I mean,
cool.
it was funny, but it was also like so. It just I don't know. It took me completely out of the story, which I guess that's what you do with the fourth wall breaks.
That's
run that
literally
way.
what she's
literally
doing.
Yeah.
So what constitutes her being able to do stuff like that? Did they explain why or how she's able to? She
No.
just goes for it.
And
Yeah.
that's why the show's allowed to be so goofy, and that's why I can't be mad at things like not explaining characters and stuff like that. This woman can literally just go and talk to us. She's an omniscient character of the story.
Right.
So like sometimes
Yeah.
you just do stupid shit like change the panel to something else,
Mm-hmm.
or introduce a stupid character that you maybe filmed.
I mean,
randomly.
like I see it. It's like Deadpool does the same thing where he's like, "Yeah, that's not important. Moving on." And
But he does
so
it.
I
He
don't.
does it in a tasteful amount, like every
Does he?
every so
That's
often.
horse shit. That's
Yeah,
horse shit.
every so
I mean, I
often.
haven't seen She-Hulk obviously, but I feel like Deadpool is constantly talking to the camera.
But he's
and
doing
stuff.
it like but you never get pulled out of the story. This one, they literally had like a 5 to 10 minute scene where you're completely out of the story and you're just like wondering what the fuck is going on. And like, it just killed it. I mean, for me, it killed it. Like, it was too much.
Okay.
It was too much.
That's fair.
I did like that's where you get the X-Men drop because she asked Kevin, she's like, "Oh, when are we getting the X-Men?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah." When and he's like, "I can't tell you that." He doesn't tell her anything.
And that's another thing making fun of the budget about like why like we can't do any more budget stuff. He's like, well, they're on another project, and then the Wakanda music starts playing.
The Wakanda theme comes in. Yeah, that was fucking great. Especially when like we've like heard all the things about crunch. I was like, that's a sensitive joke for some
Well,
people
that's,
potentially, but
You're probably
it was
pissed off.
very funny though.
That's hilarious.
Mhm.
I think one of the funniest things for me is she's like, ask Kevin for more Daredevil. She wants more Daredevil. And, and when she cuts back, Daredevil just literally drops from what is I could only assume is the heavens. Because she's like in a suburb where there's no city, there's no buildings he was talking about. He literally drops from the sky, and it was so funny.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole of She-Hulk. At the end, so since Bruce Banner didn't show up, he does show up at the end, which at a nice little picnic where it looks like her and Matt Murdock are kind of a couple now, which I kind of like. That's cute. It's great.
Mhm.
Aw.
Is this canon?
And you get the
Is this
reveal.
in the comics?
Yeah,
Okay.
you get the reveal that Hulk has a son who's also a Hulk named Scar, and a
What?
lot of people freaked
He's
out.
got a fucking
because
shitty hairline. Bro's hairline is
Yeah.
fucking
Oh.
trash, bro. Go to the barber,
bad.
dude. You look dumb.
It's real bad. Well, I don't know if you
Wow.
remember, Stan Lee's the barber on Scar, so that's probably why he gave.
He
True.
fucked that man's hairline all the way up.
Who's the baby mama?
We have no idea.
No idea.
I bet it's Scarlett Johansson.
We don't know.
Ew,
There's
that's
no
gross.
fucking way.
Had to be somebody. Very
Also, I'm pretty sure
strong.
he got that baby in space,
Yes.
so I don't think it's
Space
her.
baby.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
It looks like they're definitely leading to like a Planet Hulk, World War Hulk situation. His son is a big character in that. Yeah, so freaked out. He didn't look that great, but also he's on the screen for like 0.5
Yeah,
seconds.
he's just like some
Whatever.
guy that's kind of green, kind of thick.
How old
The
is
bad
this son?
Probably a teenager.
Yeah, for some reason he's like 14, even though he's only supposed to probably be like maybe 1 at
True.
this time.
He should not be
Like-
very old.
It's definitely Scarlett Johansson then. They probably got pregnant right after the first Avengers movie.
When did she give birth to a Hulk?
After the first Avengers movie.
Also, she says she can't. She doesn't have a uterus.
Not anymore, she doesn't.
Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
All right, everybody. That's
Oh
the
my
podcast.
Sorry, that was a bit much. I'm sorry. But honestly, it adds up.
We've all seen the GIF. We all know what the fuck happens.
Oh
It
God.
adds up.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, nuts. So yeah, that was kind of the big thing that happened there. Yeah, that's kind of She-Hulk. I really enjoyed it. I loved all the fourth wall breaking. I want more of it. Like, I want to see her and Deadpool in a thing now. Like, also, Deadpool's got a lot to step up now. Just based off this, he got a lot to step up, man.
Devin doesn't agree. Devin thinks he's already at the top. of this game.
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine.
Well, I might be convinced. I might check it out. I love that they're 30-minute episodes.
Yeah.
I only have time for that in my life. So
I mean,
Yeah.
even shorter with credits. Yeah, with credits, I think they're 30. So even without that, they're probably
Really
like
easy to pick up
24.
Of the Marvel shows, this will be the easiest one to get through. For
Yeah,
sure.
for
sure.
That's
For
fantastic.
sure.
Sounds really funny. and charming.
I think he'd like it.
She's also great. Like, yeah, get her in more shit.
Mhm.
Brian, were you saying something or are you good?
I was just saying that I'd be interested to see what she looks like in the movies. Not make like
Mhm.
CGI wise, but just like as a character, just because the way her character works. I know we've seen Terry
Right.
Daredevil and the Hulk. I'll be interested to see what she might look like next to some Avengers or things like that because of so much
Right.
comedic stuff.
I really hope she breaks the fourth wall in an Avengers
That would
movie.
be so funny.
Keep doing
I
it.
hope, you know what? I hope she goes and talks to Kevin Feige during the climax of an Avengers movie. I think that would be great.
Get
Wouldn't that be
over
great?
it, you incel. No, I'm just kidding.
He's part of intelligentsia.
Hey, just so we're on the record, I love She-Hulk, okay? Don't put me in with those incels.
No, I know. I hope Deadpool 3's ending is the same thing. I hope
He also tells Kevin. Everyone's just gonna keep talking to Kevin over and over again.
everyone just keeps
They honestly
going back.
might, dude. They really might. They really might.
I doubt it, considering he was like, yeah, this will never happen again. I doubt it. I'm pretty sure this
Well,
probably
no,
the
what would
end.
happen is Deadpool would go in and talk to the robot, and then he would break the fourth wall again and actually go talk to real Kevin Feige. Just break it multiple times. 16
Which,
wall breaks.
man, I did wonder how much of that was like a real Marvel Studios and what was like a set. Like, what did they
Right.
build? I thought that was kind
True.
of interesting. Also, She-Hulk beat up regular security people.
Yeah, she's kind of a menace.
She
Those
did.
were Disney workers.
Yeah.
They all got
She
fired
put
after that
one
for
guy's
letting
head
her
through a
in.
wall.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure one of those guys is paralyzed for life.
Yes,
so.
absolutely.
Sucks.
That's all right. Batman does it all the time. He's fine. He's a hero.
He's a
Anyways,
hero.
that's She-Hulk, everyone. Yeah, check it out. Guys, should we now move on to our final segment of the week,
Let's
Oh, boy.
go.
which we like to call Free For All, title pending. This is a segment where we kind of do whatever we want, recommend something, talk about our day, life. Devin, before you got here, me and Brian were going to combo do Werewolf by Night. Did you check it out or no?
I did not have time, unfortunately.
Do you care about it being spoiled?
No.
Okay. So we're gonna use a little bit of free for all time, listeners, to talk about Werewolf by Night, which is I will say off the bat, I appreciate it because it's a one-off.
Yes.
It's one-off that's like 50 minutes and you're done. Special presentation, and apparently Marvel might be doing more of these based off this success of this. They might be interested in doing more of this, which I would be very happy about instead of having to get a million different shows at 12 episodes apiece or whatever. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this. The length, the look, they definitely nailed that old school horror elements of it. And also, apparently, this will be a big deal in the future of Marvel, says Kevin Feige, but I'm pretty sure he probably says about everything. So,
Everything's a big deal to
so
him.
who knows?
He's a salesman, dude.
This is Marvel's like big foray into horror stuff and maybe starting to build their team of horror characters. We know Blade is on the rocks right now, but on its way.
Indefinitely on the rocks.
Overall, I quite enjoyed this. Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, I felt the same way. I have no idea what this is from or how it connects to anything in the Marvel universe. So that's and this did not help me. Like I thought there was gonna be something that would kind of
No.
like connect it somewhere, and I was like, nope, this is. I didn't feel like I was watching something Marvelish. It felt like I was watching a
Yeah.
1920s horror movie, like a Frankensteinish kind of
That's
situation
cool.
there. But yeah, no, I mean the cinematography was really interesting. The black and white use of that, very like practical looking, like very old school practical looking too. Kind of like a la
Yeah.
Evil Dead and stuff like that. I thought was really interesting.
Sick.
It was fun.
Right.
It felt like
That sounds cool.
when you like pop open Clue or like a board game, and kind of like that's kind of what the premise of it
Yeah, a
all kind
little
of felt
bit.
like. And I was like, I'm into this kind of stuff. I love that.
Yeah.
What was the setting like? What was it? Did it take place in modern time in America or?
I probably, but we honestly couldn't. Actually, I would say yes because they talk about eating sushi at the end of this, and they made it sound like it was a modern day thing.
Right.
So probably yes.
Okay.
But honestly,
Nothing else felt that
they
way.
could have gotten away with it not being that,
Right.
based on
Wow.
because there's not real context. So the premise is all of these like hunters, these people who have killed monsters in their past. You see a lot of like different monster heads on the walls of this building they're in. Are all here gathering around because this man Ulysses Bloodstone is dying or has died. And so he has this gem called the Bloodstone, which they're all going to fight and they're going to release a monster, not fight each other, we're going to release a monster. And whoever kills that monster gets the Bloodstone. We don't really know what the Bloodstone does, but it's a gem in Marvel, so it's powerful. Whatever.
It's another Infinity Stone. Enjoy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It's a stone of petrified Hulk blood.
Oh god.
Oh, Jesus.
It's get you
Don't touch
STDs.
Don't touch it.
And yeah, so it's a pretty simple premise. Like the hunt begins and they start fighting. They're trying to look for each other. Eventually they start attacking each other to eliminate each other so that they can blah, 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 Hunger Games style shit. One thing that does help it is being in black and white because there's some pretty gory stuff in this.
They do. There's a lot of stabbing, a lot of slicing. I was a little taken aback by some
Wow.
of that. I was like, this is
Disney
The
Plus?
main girl slits at least like 2 or 3 people's throats.
Yeah.
Like,
Yikes.
I was like,
Just
damn.
an arrow through a dude's jaw, the bottom of his jaw.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You even see it like poking out the top of his head.
Yeah.
Also, like that was
Oh my God.
nuts.
What is it rated?
Yeah, it's very gory.
Can Disney do stuff like that?
Gotta be
Is that-
MA for
I mean,
sure.
it's black and white. It's black and white, so it's not red blood. They got away with a lot.
Wow.
It's kind of amazing. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and then obviously, when they're doing the hunt, it's down to the last 2 people, and one of the main guy's name is Jake, and I think if you know the comics, you know he is a werewolf. They don't know that though, so when he goes to touch the bloodstone, it rejects him because he is himself a monster, and that's where it turns
Oh.
into this old school like werewolf story, where they are going to use the bloodstone to turn him into a monster and sacrifice the main girl, Elsa.
Yeah.
Elsa
Fake,
is her
fake
name,
Jessica
yeah.
Jones is what I called her the whole time. I couldn't remember her name. She has black hair and she kind of looks like Jessica Jones, like the actor.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And so they put him in the cage together, and she's like, "You're gonna kill me, blah blah blah. You're a werewolf, yada yada yada." So he like starts to smell
He
her.
gets real creepy
to,
about
like-
it. He's like, give me them feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Ooh.
I need to smell you and remember you in case, so that when I turn, I won't slaughter you.
Oh no.
But I will say the transformation itself, pretty cool.
Yeah. He looks dumb as fuck, but the transformation was cool.
It was very like old school, where like he's not like it's not a big CG. He's more man than wolf, which I kind of prefer werewolves to be more wolf than man, like Van Helsing or Underworld. I guess
Yeah.
they're more werewolfy than actual human.
I'm fond of being
He's
humanoid.
the opposite.
But I do like them
Yeah.
being like of wolf, like furry and shit like that. Like I don't want.
Yeah.
Here's a guy with a mask and some fucking arm sleeves on.
Yeah. The black and white definitely helped this as well. But I thought the transformation was pretty cool. There's a really cool shot of him like lurking in the top corner of one of the building at one point. That was pretty creepy. And then he just goes to town on a bunch of people.
Oh wow.
And just blood splattered hit the screen. Or yeah, it was kind of nuts for a while. I was like, damn.
Does he kill the girl in the cage that has the feet?
He does not. He does not. He escapes the cage and starts to.
He doesn't
kill
actually sniff her
everyone
feet. I was just joking.
Oh, okay. Thank goodness.
Yeah, and so he doesn't kill her. He realizes who she is. But even before that, and to the same creature that comes to save the day, they introduce fucking Man Thing in this thing, which I think that might be maybe the big thing. Kevin Feige was like, "You'll want to. This is a thing that will happen for the rest of the Marvel universe."
Who'd they
is
introduce?
Man Thing.
Man
Thing. He's basically Marvel's Swamp Thing. He's just a being of like nature. His big thing and like the slogan is like, if you are in fear, you'll like burn at the touch of the Man Thing, which I will say gruesomely happens to the main evil lady in
Oh
this.
god, he
Oof.
crisped that lady up, and then her head, and then
Woo.
oh yeah, then he knocked the head off of the other guy.
He
They named
roasted him.
Man Thing Ted, which felt a little She-Hulky. Like yeah,
Yes,
well boy Ted.
it's funny, but I mean, also his name is Ted. Like the guy who turns into Man Thing in the
Oh,
comics.
so
name
it is
like
it is a
Ted
human. I don't know
something.
anything about
Oh,
Man
man.
Thing. I just thought he
Yeah,
was
so
always.
Man Thing, he is a human who turns into the Man Thing in like an experiment or something. I can't remember exactly. So yes, technically his name is Ted, but it's very funny either way. It's like, okay, this big hulking thing is Ted. They're
That's
gonna sell
funny.
toys. That's why.
Nice. Nice.
This sounds pretty worth checking out, especially since it's only a 50-minute commitment.
Yeah.
It's real quick. Yeah, it's not bad.
Well, it sounds like I got 2 great recommendations today. Thank you guys.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, Brian. You had anything else to say about it?
I just learned that he's from Florida, so there goes your Florida something. I wouldn't call him a superhero.
That's their hero for Florida's Man Thing.
I mean, have you seen
That's-
Florida? Your pickings aren't very good, so you better take what you can
Uh,
get.
That's the most fitting. That's the most fitting superhero actually that could come from Florida. It's just Man Thing.
Man on bath salts is probably the superhero of Florida.
I will say I was slightly upset there was no Moon Knight cameo in this, because that was the one thing I thought would be in it. Because I think either in Werewolf by Night's first appearance or Moon Knight's first appearance, they fight each other. I can't remember which is which.
That explains
Oh,
why they
that
tried to
sounds
get me to
familiar.
watch Moon Knight after this went off.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
I
That-
didn't realize that was a connection.
yeah.
Hmm.
So this could be the intro to like their Midnight Suns, like that video game we know is coming out. They're like more the horror element hero type of things.
Mhm.
That could be what they're leading toward with this universe, and that'd be kind of cool. Something different.
Exciting.
Also,
Definitely.
I'm reading here. It says that he had an affiliation with the Thunderbolts.
Man Thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. That could also be a thing.
That'd be weird.
Lots of things.
It's all these normal ass people in that
Yeah,
Man Thing.
that's
Yeah.
fucking
But yeah,
Mhm.
that's kind of Werewolf by Night. Real quick, check it out. Do you guys want to rattle off some quick free for alls for us?
Yeah, fun fact, Cleo, my daughter, she poops about like 10 times a day at least.
Damn.
Yeah, pretty awesome stuff. Yeah.
Is that what we're wait?
It's honestly shocking.
Full on ginormous diaper filled poops.
we call her Ted. We call her man thing.
Yeah. It's never ending.
She's getting that food, man. Eat growing.
Oh yeah. She's a healthy girl.
I don't have one for you guys this week, but I do have one that I maybe want to present to the group next week.
Oh.
I'll send you some articles.
I was like,
TBD.
cool story, Devin.
It's an idea that a few comic writers had that I would like to talk to you guys about. So
Stay
that's
tuned, listeners.
coming up soon on the Fortress of listeners.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
And if you want to hear more facts about baby life, you're in the right place.
We'll keep track. How many poops did she have this week? They're coming soon.
You know what? It is really hard to count that high. I'll tell you.
The expensive diapers makes that just criminal. I mean, when you go through like a box a day.
Nah, man,
You're
just
right,
flip them inside
Devin.
out.
I hate it.
Yeah, I will try that. That's a great idea. Reversible.
I went to a baby shower one time. And it was $25 for like a very standard size of diapers. I was like, bro, this is price gouging. All right, this is extortion.
Oscar bought us a pack of diapers. We really appreciated it.
I did the most Godfather thing where
That's right.
I went to the store, bought a pack of diapers and a case of beer, and went to the baby.
Yeah. Much appreciated.
That uncle.
Yeah. All right, everyone. That is our show for the week. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this. Email us at thefortress@gmail.com, Fortress spelled F-O-U-R. Please feel free to email us any questions or recommendations or anything like that. Also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Rate and review us, preferably 5 stars. But also, whatever you want. Anything is great. Thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast every week. Thank you, Brian, for the art. Alex, for the music. Devin, thank you for being here. Even though you're insane to be here right now. For the longest day in the world. You can find Brian at ITZ_ by the way. Alex at Peterson Films, and Devin. You can find him somewhere in a plane traveling the world every day, all day. Next week, maybe House of the Dragon? It's ending? I don't know. We'll see.
What about maybe Rings of Power?
Maybe Rings of Power? Who knows?
Ooh.
Don't know.
And whatever the hell Devin's talking about.
Something fantasy. Mine'll be quick. It's just like a free for all. But yeah.
No, don't undersell it now.
and we'll see if Cleo gets even cuter. Spoiler alert, she probably will, because she literally gets cuter every single fucking day, and I don't know how.
100% success rate. Doesn't miss.
I feel like that's an upward trend until they get to like what 10,
Oh,
and then at 10 it's
Then
like
you go
oh,
ugly.
this is just a
Sky's the limit with this one, I'm
horrible
telling you.
All
Sky's the limit.
right, everyone. Happy holidays, and put a coat on. It's cold out there.
It's a little rainy today. That's storm.
It was. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you here next week. Another episode of The Fortress of.
Chicago, Miami, Paris, London, Toronto,